This week on Painted Plastic.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Painted Plastic. Brandon here with episode 8. I decided to go ahead and get started on the base for the Gundam because we're going to do some fun stuff with that. That and the oils, mostly dry. I think there's still a couple of places where it was a little thick that might not be fully cured. So we're just going to jump right into the base. Right off the bat, I have to apologize because there's been a bit of work done already that I didn't get footage of. So just to kind of catch you up, right? I think in the last video, I showed you the box and I showed you the trim. This is just some cheap old, got it at Lowe's, right? It's like, I don't know, a couple of dollars for an 8-foot stick. It's like plastic, but cut outside corners, right? Measure them to length, cut outside corners. They have been glued in place, and then I also put a couple of nails, little trim nails, just to hold it, right? Also, I just cut out a little spot for a switch, which I do not have here. I'll show you the switch in the next part, but it just slots right in, and then the wires will come through, right? So the plan for this is I kind of want to have a desert, sandy, rocky, that kind of top to it. So give me 1 second. So while I was at the Lowe's, I picked up a can of this, just plain old Krylon paint. But it's like a leathery brown. I thought that'd be a nice base color for this, since we're going to do sand and stuff on top. And then what I'll probably do is maybe this bottom section here I'll paint black just to kind of ground it, so everything will be brown and then it'll be a black foot and then sand on top. We're going to have to do a little modification to this because wherever we stand the Gundam, we have to have contacts because the power supply and all the batteries and everything are going to be hidden in here. So we'll have to have contacts wherever the feet are. So I'm thinking once the oils get dry, I'll do a quick varnish on them just to seal it all in. And then we can kind of assemble at least the lower half and place it, where are the feet going to be? Are they going to be here? Are we going to have them here? Then we can figure out where those contact points need to be. So yeah, that's the plan for this episode. Hopefully we'll get the holes drilled, we'll get the top done, get it all base coated, and when the mobile suit is ready, it'll have a nice place to stand. I don't know if I'll be able to film spraying this. I'm gonna try. Got to do it outside. So I'll try to film this, but if not, when we come back, this will just be base coated and we'll move on to the next bit. All right. So yeah, give me a few minutes and we will get this started. Be right back. Hey everybody, so real quick, before we get too far along with the base, we need to get the lower half of the mobile suit put together and wired. As you can see, I've got the wire running through the leg now. And I just want to show you real quick how I do that. I haven't attached it to the waist, but we'll do all that at the end. So, got the pieces here that we're going to need. First and foremost, we need a hole through the ankle. And again, I'll be using my pin vise. Actually, I'm going to change. Need a little bit larger bit for the ankle. But, so I know it's going to come out the top, of course. So we'll put a hole here. Alright, as you're drilling through, try to hold the piece together so the hole goes through any you know, supports or anything that are in there, but you want to go straight through, right? And then it's going to come out the bottom, because this hole is right about there, so we'll drill kind of right here. And again, you're on that seam, so hold the piece. And the reason I wanted a little bit bigger bit for this part is because there'll be rocker motion, right? So I want the wire to be able to kind of move just a little bit if it needs to. There we go. And I know you can't probably see. There's a hole straight through the piece, right? So, excuse me. So now we'll put the ankle into the foot, right, just like that. And now we need to start wiring. So I've got the foot. Remember, I taped it all up for protection. And boy, I twisted this wire a million times. Wow, man, I thought I was done with the Christmas lights. Good gracious, that was a tangled mess. Alright, so, where were we? Got our hole in our foot, and I try to make this wire just as straight as I possibly can. I mean, it's gonna have some bends, but, you know. Now we just very simply feed it through, and hopefully you'll be able to find the path the drill took. You know, it's funny, it fed right through when I did, you know, the right leg, but now that you all are watching, I can't get it to go through there. There we go. Alright, so push that into place. Right, ankle functions, good. Everything looks good. Onto the leg itself, right? And actually I already pre-drilled this hole because I put my paint stick through there, right? So this one we just got to feed through, hopefully more gracefully than the last one. Handy dandy tweezers. Put Actually, I'm not going to put that all the way on. Well, yes I will. That goes on. And where's the ankle guard? Be real careful doing this, y'all, because remember we just glued it together. So just gently, gently, gently kind of pull it apart just enough to get into the holes. Right. Well, there we go. Give it a bit of a wiggle to make sure it seats properly. There we go. Now the knee is tricky. The knee is because we want it to function, right? So how do we do that? Let's get it split apart. You'll notice I'm picking up a little bit of that metal dust. Really probably should have gloves on, but yeah. There is handy dandy part splitter. This thing really is, I mean, it should come with every kit, I think. If you ever need to take the kits apart, you'll understand. Ever so gently prise those apart. And if you remember from the initial build, one side of this has a post and the other side kind of has a sleeve that accepts it, and that's what holds the knee. So when we go to run the wire, well, you'll see. Let me just get the thing apart. Good gracious, what in the world? There we go. Alright. Take that out for right now. Alright, so you see this side has kind of a sleeve and this side has a post. So the wire has to go basically down through this side, and it will go into the center over here, right? So it's going to come here. Let's just start cutting it. I'll show you the path. So it's going to come down through here. Actually, I'm going to power down my bit here. This is I don't know the sizes. They weren't labeled. There we go. All right. Just like that. Right, so now we got a hole straight through to the inner part. Now, where was this one? Yeah, so when it comes through here, now it's going to go through this part, right? But I want it to go through way back at the corner here, because it's the other piece is not going to go past this point. Anybody see what I mean? Where these notches are, the other piece is going to stop right there. So you'll have a little bit of space, and if you just gently, gently, gently right at the base, put a little hole there, and you know, you might get your edge, but be careful. Try not to, and also try not to drill through to the other side. That would be catastrophic. But if you just take your time, you can see inside there? I don't know if you can even see it. But you can get a hole right in the corner. And see? I ended up chipping that just a little bit, but I don't think you'll notice. It's going to be hidden by armor. So, anyway. Alright, so that takes care of two sides. It's going to come down here, go through the center, right? And then it'll come through the center, and then it'll go the same thing on this piece. Where these little ridges are is where the other part will stop. So we just want a small hole somewhere, and you know, the wire is going to come up this way, so we kind of want a hole on this side. Just like the other part. Can everybody see it? I hope you guys can see what I'm doing. It's really hard to see what I'm doing and do it on camera. Little hole. And we should be just about there. Yep. Like that. Can you see anything? I don't know if you can even see in there. Anyway, trust me, it's through. Alright, now the fun part. The wiring. Let's see, the knee goes this way. So, it's going to come down through this wire. Am I on camera? I'm probably not even on camera. Down through this, or down through this section. Right. Just like that. Like pull as much of the excess through. I need to leave a little to work it, but anyway. Everybody see that? We'll put this like over here. And then down through this center section, which I may need my tweezers to get this part. Alright. Just like that. So now we have, whoops. It has to go through the center, of course, because all this is going through this part. Right, so now we have half of the leg. And then don't worry, you're never going to see any of this. I mean, you may possibly get a flash of the wire when you bend the knee, but I don't know, we'll see. Now I want to just feed a little bit more through, so we're a little closer to being able to just pop it in place when we get the next piece on. Alright, now this piece is a bit tricky because it has to go through the hole and up through, or through the part and then up through the hole, kind of like that. Kind of like that. I don't want to come through. Maybe could have gone with a bit larger bit for this. There we go. Didn't want to come through there. And this is going to be a pain in the neck. I can see it right now. There we go. Alright, so this will form the top. Oh, wait a minute. Good gracious, we didn't even drill all our holes. I'm getting ahead of myself. It's going to have to come through here, right? So, we need holes down on this end. Alright, now. Oh, not again. Okay. Alright. Now we'll feed this through. I'll straighten it out a little bit first. Feed this through there. There we go. we go. Now we have it through the outside of the knee. Oh, and there's also a poly cap. How does this thing fit in there? I can't remember. Oh, wait a minute. You guys thread it through. How does this thing? There we go. Just like that. Alright, now we'll pull this back through. And hopefully everything will just fit right into place. Alright, now to get it all there we go. Just like that. Now to get it into the foot or to the leg, a lot of times you can just push it in, right? Because there's enough space in the leg. The leg is ultimately hollow. If you can't, like with this one, see, I can just push it right into place. Our knee still functions, right? And hopefully we still have a good connection. We'll test that at the end. But if you can't slip that just straight in, just like I did, take it loose from the foot and put that in place, and then when you go back to the foot, you can ease that wire into this section, and like I said, this thing's pretty much hollow, so you can get in there and do what you need to do. Give me just a second. I'm wiping my hands. I have to have gloves on. All this metal, but yeah, see what I mean? It comes off a little bit, but you know, these are parts that you're never going to touch again. And really, when you're done, you can buff it out. And it'll look, you know, you buff the fingerprints right off. It's no problem. And you're really not going to mess with the joints, you know. Alright. So now we can add these armor bits. Like that. And we can drop them. And we can drop them some more. And like that. I'm going to do some dry brushing on these parts, but for the time being, I'm going to go ahead and install this other piece of armor. Alright, so that's a leg nearly done. All we have is the hip